Right, so we've got the steel in now, all of our walls are up, and we're ready to start doing the subfloor. Before we start running around and packing steel and putting our beams up, we do want to go through and take some time to make sure that when we build the subfloor, it's all going to be level. So we're going to set up the laser level now, and I'll take you through our process on how we find the highest point out of all of our walls in this frame, and then make sure that we build our subfloor to that point. Since we do have so many walls around here, I do want to try see if we can get this tripod holding the laser up above wall height, and then that way when it shines the laser line, it shouldn't be hitting any walls, and we should be able to access the laser at all points of the frame. All right, so I'm here with just Mitchie today, and he does have TAFE right now. The way the TAFE typically runs in Australia is you have either the choice to do on-site TAFE or actually go in and do your TAFE studies. Normally the boss chooses what you do. Mitch does on-site TAFE, and that means all his TAFE work, all his book work he has to do at home. And then once every 6 weeks or so, the TAFE teacher will come out, as he's come out today, and I'll just sit down, do some book work, check over everything Mitch has done. It should take about 2 hours, and then he'll be back on the tools with us. And since I'm on crutches right now, I'm not going to be running around with a ladder, getting all these laser points, so I might wait for Mitch to get back before we do that. And I'll just play around with some other stuff while we wait. We've got about 15 minutes while Mitch's teacher looks over his work. So we will make a start on this. I'm going to turn that on. I'll pull that up. There we go. I can see that green dot on that steel there. That's almost at max height, and that steel is just over pitching plate height. We'll start here, and we'll just go around anti-clockwise. We'll go around clockwise, sorry, and we'll find the highest point. Once we find the highest point, we'll work off there. I don't think that's going to work. The laser needs to come down too far. Like if the laser was probably 30 mil higher or lower, it will work, but it's almost just spot on. Since it is a bit overcast today, when you look around the frame or the other steel, can you see the laser hitting those steel columns at the front? Because if we can see the laser, maybe what we do is even use our phone screen and we can measure down from the laser everywhere. And maybe we just do it that way without the receiver. We'll use this little mirror, it's easier to see. Do you get what I'm saying? So you run that kind of, oh, can you see the green line on that?
Yeah.
Quite easily? Oh, you're going to need your tool belt on, we're going to have to get measurements. So you'll find that line and you'll measure from that top of that plate there to that line. Yeah, freestyling this one. I've never done it this way before, but I feel like it's actually got the potential to be a lot quicker and easier. When you're measuring to, Mitchie, what are you measuring to? Are you measuring to the middle of the laser line, the bottom, or the top? Just measure again, because the laser line's like a mil or two thick. I want you to pay attention to what point of the laser you're going to. It can be anything, but I just want you to make a point of what you're doing and then do the same thing for every single one. And just so I know too, just in case I take over, are you measuring to the middle of the line, bottom of the line?
Bottom.
Bottom of the line, sweet. Nice, cool. Do you want to make your way around, and we'll do it at every kind of corner of interest. So we'll do that corner there, we'll do that external corner there. These two internal walls, since we're got beams in them as well and positives landing on them, we'll do either end of these internal walls. So yeah, if you want to make your way through and start doing that, and just for clarification, that 17 mil, that's got no meaning at all, but just the datum line. So once we get our measurements everywhere, the only thing we're going to care about is the difference between the 17 mil. If every number's 17 mil the entire way around, it means these walls are perfectly level and we can just go ahead. Well, actually the lowest number is what we care about. The smaller the number, the higher the wall is, because it means it's less distance from that top of that wall to that laser line. I'm just going to go my level. I just want to check what the slab's doing here, because it looks like we've got 3 mil of full across there, which isn't good. It might be a bit easier to see what's going on if we had a straight edge here. But if we're looking at that bubble anyway, that is about 2 mil out, which is completely fine though. We'll obviously level this window before we put it in, and we're doing this that our subfloor can be completely level. It's just trying to work out and make sure that our wall is actually built okay, and we're just checking to make sure the concrete's out. How are we looking with these measures?
You've got 24 there.
You're kidding. So we've got 7 mil difference. That's massive. You're right, you keep going, but what we will do is, because 7 mil, especially from the span of about 5 meters, that's a lot. It's going 17, 20, 24, 26. I'd be surprised if the concrete's sloping that much. I'm starting to wonder if that laser's actually out and it's just shining the laser line on a bit of an angle. We'll get another laser out and I'll check what these walls are doing and we'll figure out what's going on. if we shine this along our wall plate, if I measure from the slab to the green line there and there, we'll be able to find out if the slab is out of level or if my laser level is out of level. So it's 127. It's 127, that corner's marked 26. Yeah, that's 119 there. Right, so there you have it. Our slab's basically 10 mil out of level from this point here to where those posi start. I'm hoping this is a high point right on this corner here. If that's a high point, what we could do is potentially plane just that little corner there, bring that down a small bit, and then that way we're not worrying about packing the front of the house up massively, because right now packing that whole thing up 10 mil is going to take a lot of time, use a lot of packers. That's something I'd always encourage to do though. If you do start leveling a house and something's drastic like this wall here and it keeps changing at a level, I do recommend getting a second laser level or even an actual proper spirit level, chucking that on the wall, getting your laser level out and just making sure that your results are accurate. Because the last thing you want to do is pack stuff up drastically like that and then find out that your laser level's out. That's 32 mil. Just gonna double check one of Mitch's ones. Jeez, that's easy to read there. Just want to make sure that we are definitely measuring the same way. That's pretty good. So that's saying we lose 12 mil from here to there. I know we just checked and that our laser is definitely accurate, but I want to check that room again because 12 mil over 4 meters is way too much. Yeah, you can see it there. Hang on, that's about 4.5 mil there. If I sit that under there, at least you go up another mil. So we've got 5 mil over the level. We've got the space of 2 levels. So that's looking like 10 mil there. And our wall's saying 12 mil, so yeah, that checks out. Yeah, so we're gonna have a nightmare packing all these walls of posies. We noticed a couple bad areas with the slab when we're framing walls, but I didn't realize sections like this were gonna be that bad. And all we've basically done already is just leveled up these walls in this room here. By the time we get to that front corner over there, I'm actually a little bit worried to see how bad this could be. I might wait for Mitchie to get back and then we'll keep going on with this. I just had the weirdest look from someone walking past and I was trying to work out what was going on. And then I realised I was trying to carry the ladder while on crutches with the bloody camera to my head filming what I'm doing. I don't reckon that's been done before. One thing I forgot what I can do though. You see how it's going in a 360 spin right now? That means it's only casting the laser line your way like once every half of a second. With this remote, if I press that, don't tell me the remote's dead. Don't worry about it. It's not working. I need to bring that down later and see what's going on, but this remote, I've used it before. If I press that button, I can just situate the laser in one direction. Don't know why my tools keep breaking. Oops. At least that's good that that's 25. That means this entire wall through here, I mean, we go from 26 to 25, 1 mil. I'm gonna say that's level. Yeah, it's just this section here where it really sticks up that way and drops down that way. Don't need to do any of that because there's no subfloor through here. That's just a big, massive room. So we can do that corner there and then jump in over here and start doing that side and working our way down. We had 28 mil there, I tested that one before. So you said that corner there is 37. What do we have over here at our first point? Because that was the low. Can you double check that point? That's insane. If that is 37 and that's 17, that's telling us that the slab is, that can't be right. The slab is falling 20 mil over there. We'll have a quick look at that. At least we just went through there and we got all the laser points from this side of the house. It's all around that 26 measurement, which is pretty good. At least it's all the same. Yeah, you can see that there. That's like, I reckon I'm lifting that up about 7 mil there. And the slab's probably not consistent. That's probably about 10 mil there if I sit that under there. That's level. That's level with that packer. At least the good thing is that in this room here as well, this is 6 meter ceilings. All we're gonna do is, I believe, have a beam running from that tag coming through that way. I'm actually not too sure how it's going to finish now looking at it. Maybe it just sits in the wall. I don't know what that tag there's for. It's a little bit confusing the way those tags are, but at least we've probably only got one posi in here though, which we're gonna have to pack up by 20 or so mil. That's all good, we'll leave that, we can worry about that later. No, that's the issue now. We obviously can't mark anything over here because of the steel. What we might be able to do is, do you wanna mark that corner there?
Yep.
Where that pitching plate is? Once you mark that corner there, we can pick up the laser, put it in that room there, and then with the laser in that room there, we can set it on your point, and I'll move it up and down to make sure it's the same, so we can get all the same measurements, and then we can go and mark this wall out here and that small little back room. Yeah, so this is gonna be the issue. We're gonna get it close, and then every time I move it, it's gonna stop spinning for a second, and it's gonna be a bit of a patient game. Do you want to? So you see where that green line is now, where it's just trying to get itself ready?
Yeah.
Can you just put a ruler on that?
Leave it at 28.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get that to 28 and hope that once it calibrates, it's pretty close.
Up a mil.
All right, go in your corner, and we'll wait for it to calibrate now, and we'll see how close we were.
It's got to go up another 6 mil lateral.
6 mil. All right. I've actually got my markings on here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 mil.
That's what it does.
Beautiful. Cool. So yeah, same process. We'll get you to do all the points. Obviously upstairs finishes where the tall wall is. So we get 1 point in there, in that corner, 1 point in this corner there where that cleat is, and then I'll just get you to do a point there and just work your way down on that main wall there. About 3 or 4 points, and then we've got our level points everywhere, and from there we can start leveling and putting our beams in. And so we might actually start right where you are. In terms of the level points, we got 20 mil there, and it goes to 17 there. So 17, that's our highest point. I think what we're gonna do is make 20 mil our highest point. And that technically means in most places we're going to be packing up around 4 to 6 mil. If we make 20 mil our highest point, it just means over there we're going to have to plane that down a little bit. And since we do have a beam going most of the way through there, it's going to be just one corner, possibly one posi that we plane down. So that's our highest point there. Obviously we don't want to flick a line from there because you're not going to really see it. So we'll come down from a datum point. So we're going to come down 15 mil everywhere. Actually go 20 mil, so we've got a bit of play. We'll come down 20 mil everywhere. Since we've only got one natty here, can you put a clout on that line, and we'll hook a chalk line over that. Sweet. So you get what we're doing. Once you flick this line, wherever we are around the house, we'll flick the line the same way. So you measure up 20 mil from the line, and that's where that level line is.
Yep.
So from this point here, if you measure up 20 mil, that's going to be flush with the top plate.
Yep.
Anywhere else, you measure up 20 mil, and that measurement's probably going to be slightly over the top plate, and we're just going to pack up to that measurement. Since that measurement's 24 and we're going off that 20 mil measurement,
Yeah.
that means we lose that 20 mil straight away, and that's 4 mil over. So yeah, you come down 16. But that's also why I decided to come down 20 mil, make the datum line 20 mil, because right now all of our datum measurements are 20 mil up. So if we go 20 mil down, that works out perfectly. So technically you're going 40 mil down from whatever measurement is written there. Yeah. That's probably the simplest way to say it. Whatever that measurement is, you're coming 40 mil down. So what you could do is if you hold 24 mil flush with the pitching plate, or in this instance, whatever measurement's there. So you go up to 24 mil, and then does that land on 40 mil with what you just marked? That might be an easy way to do it then, so we don't get confused with adding too many measurements. Whatever you see on that plate, hold your tape on that measurement and mark 40. I was just making sure you are all over that. That makes sense how we work that out. So for example, that corner there where it's really bad, we got 32 mil. We're going to be coming down 8 mil and marking 8 mil. And then once we go through to put our posis in, we're going to be going 20 mil up from the 8 mil. Nice. There's our first datum line. Normally what we'll do is go through and flick these lines on all of the external walls. I want to make sure that's done today. On Monday, there's going to be a few people here, and I want everything to be set out easy, straightforward for them. For now, I just want to start putting some beams up, but before we leave today, we want to make sure we do this on every wall. The first beam we might do is actually going to span from here across to there. So maybe what we do is just cut off that temp brace that's sticking up, and we just flick a line the entire way down here.
Is there a double stud in there?
There's meant to be double studs. All the internals weren't that's the issue we had. No one looked at the engineers when the internals were marked out. So that's why I've got rid of those junction blocks there, and here behind us. Sweet, if you're happy to work that out, flick that out, I'll get the plans up. What I propose today is we'll just worry about putting these beams in, and when we have a few more sets of hands on Monday, I'll get someone to go through and add in these double studs that we're missing. So this is our plan here. We have 1B8 which is a single 290/45 pine. One thing I want to work out is where that beam goes, if it goes on that side of the wall or our side of the wall. And the best way that we can do that today, so I'm not sure if you can see that plan, but that plan shows it directly in the center. That doesn't really mean that it goes in the center though, that's just showing that it goes from that wall to that wall. Oh, this plan actually shows us exactly where the beam goes. We can see it's on the inside of both of those walls there. That's good, that's handy to know. So we got two beams going that way over those walkways, and we got a beam coming across here. I think that beam at the front though is a double, which makes it hard. We have a double 290 landing on that load stud, which is obviously going to take up the entire 90 mil there, meaning that these beams will either have to, I think we're going to have to get a right angle bracket on that. Because since these beams have to be on out, we've got to cut that back too, but since these beams have to be on this front face of the wall, means if we cut one beam short, there's going to be one beam there not landing on the wall anyway. So we're going to need a right angle bracket. What we might do first then is we'll get these double beams going across. Can you get the straight edge on level, please? What I want to do is every wall that we put a beam in, I want to double check its plumb before we shoot the beam in, so that there can be no possible room for errors afterwards. What we have is 1, 2, 3, that U shape of B's there. The next beams we're going to do is to kind of beam out for a stair void, which is going on that half of the hallway there. So we'll get measurements to where the stair void starts, but what we will end up having is a beam which I think starts on that lintel, goes across there, another beam which will be on this lintel which we have to add in, which goes across there, and then a beam running through the middle of this hallway between it. So I'll go through right now, we'll work out where the stair void is going to start and finish. Once you just get those shot off and good to go, we'll jump on this one together. Actually, Mitch, do you know how to work out where these stair void beams go? Do you want me to show you?
Yeah.
So, if I can get that to stick. IB8, 5 and 4, we've done that U shape there. So we've got to find IB7 going across that way. We've got to find IB6, so how wide the stair void is, and then IB7 where the stair void finishes. If we have a look at it, you can see it doesn't really finish in line with that wall there, and that doesn't start in line with any notable points. So to work out where the stair void starts, just so we know what's going on, I'm just going to draw these. They're the beams we've already put in. I'm going to look upstairs to start with. First thing we can see is we have 2 meters from that wall there, and that wall is directly on top of this double beam we put in there. So we've got 2 meters, which is going to be from the outside of that beam all the way through to that first beam there. You see that measurement?
Yeah.
So we got that for 2 meters. In terms, I was actually having a look at this at lunch, in terms of the size of the stair void, we actually don't have a measurement on how wide the stair void is. So we're going to have to use other things to work out where that stair finishes. As you can see, we'll do our beams. So I swear we get one cop helicopter here a day. Yeah, we can see upstairs, we got a wall that finishes there, and our stair void finishes in line with it. So I'll probably do my beam on the outside of that wall running through there. Actually, no, I can do it on the inside of that wall, because we can see that balustrade sits on there, which is kind of about 45 mil in from that wall. So what we have to do is we'll start from this same point here, which is this same double beam. We'll get that room measurement. So we've got 3765 plus 90 plus the ensuite measurement, which is 2910. I'm just going to get rid of that 90 and make that 3 meters. So we've got 6765 from that double beam we did there, which is the edge of upstairs, because that's just a big void. We got 6765 from that point there to the outside of that last beam there, because that, actually no, sorry, plus 90. So we got 6855, and that 90 accounts for that wall there. So that measurement's going to be to the outside of that wall, which is going to be the outside of our beam. And then we've got the 2 meters to that beam, which will give us a stair void size of 4805. Working out from our outside wall, we can work across to the size of what that stair void is going to be. It actually makes it easy for us. Our stair void is going to be 1200, and then we have an opening next to it of 550. So in terms of this beam here, it's going to be 1750 from this lower wall we have running through there. I've jotted a lot of numbers down, they're a bit rough, but yeah, that's how we find where our beams go for our stair void. Use your upstairs architectural drawings, and yeah, you just got to find a solid point for upstairs, which aligns with downstairs too, so we can measure those. We'll mark it out on the slab down here, and then we can just level across because that wall's plumb. If you want to pull that timber out a tiny bit, so you hook over that corner wall there first, and you're measuring 2 meters. Sorry, that 2 meter measurement is 2 meters hooking over and back, and that's where the beam's going to go. That's hooking over there. Yeah, that's right. If you hook over that same place, I'm going to give you the overall measurement to the outside of the stair void, and then we'll double check the internal measurement to make sure our stair void's the right size. So if you mark 6'8", and pull the tape to you, I'm going to hold it here. What do you have to that beam closest to me, that 45mm mark you just measured?
4'8", 10.
You have 4'8", 10, so we'll remeasure that, but that's basically what it is. Actually, we'll just go with 4'8", 10. If we've got an extra 5mm that we can play with and pack out later, it's even better. So there are 2 points. Once we fix it up, we're just going to plumb up both sides, mark the top plate, same as this side here. We're going to mark the same thing, plumb up, and we can do those 2 beams going across. All right, before we start the stair void, we obviously need a lintel or something here. The stair void's finishing, is that your measurement there? So our stair void beam is going to land on that timber there. I think I left this in one of my first framing videos for the series, but originally the architectural showed this to be a full height window, starting from the bottom and finishing above where that timber is right now. Obviously that wouldn't have worked without putting a beam across there. Chatting to the builder this morning, we're changing that window to a 2.7, and it's going to be hard down. So what we're going to do, just measure up 2.720 either side. I reckon we'll pop both of these studs out, to be honest. It'd be easier doing it this way. And we're just going to do a check out for 300 LVL. 3 meter walls to the top of the pitching plate. That does mean we're going to have to rip down 45mm of that top plate there. And when we put a pitching plate on too, we're going to have to rip that down as well. And since we're going 2.720 and there's going to be a 300 LVL, that means our LVL is actually going to stick up above the pitching plate by 20mm. So we'll just have to check out our stair void beam to sit on it. So what we do for now is we've got one side there marked at 2.720, so we know where to cut the stud off. We'll take these 2 studs out. I'll give you a hand with it. I'm having a look at the plan now, so that's the beam we're putting in right now, which has almost got that done. That beam is there. Now, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but we have these posies here, which go through and they sit on that wall. I say beam, that's a lintel. It's in the wall space. It's called for as a lintel. And you can see that's true with the posi plan because these posies here sit entirely over that wall. But that sits completely on the wall. And then for some reason, these posies finish on the outside of that wall. And then there's little red markings for a joist hanger to be there. So I don't know how you can have one posi sitting on a wall and then another posi butt into it, calling for a joist hanger. There's like, I have no idea what the interpretations of that is. Actually, I say wall, but I'm looking closer at it and you can see they've marked all the walls with those white lines. There's only a blue line through there, which kind of shows that they know that's just a single beam. It's only 45mm wide and all these posies are sitting on top of it. So I don't know how they can sit on top of that and they butt into it. There's a huge error there. We're just going to keep going with what we got for now, but there's already been a few things we got to fix around with this subfloor. All right, looks really good. Thanks, mate. So we got a marking. Is that?
No, that's the wall plate.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So
it's that line there, and you can tick towards me. It's going to be a double beam.
this one?
No, the other one closest to me.
This one? That's the beam size.
The beam goes the other side of that line.
And that's the stair void.
Yes, and you tick that and just write stair void, just so we know. In terms of beams, I believe both of those running across are double 190s. If you want to jump up on your ladder and get a measurement for the beam regardless. So they're both double 290 pines. So what do you have? I'm just going to write it down. 2875. And can you check on this side behind me too, please? They should be exactly the same. And I also want to double check what our hallway measurement was to make sure everything's looking good there. Pardon? Why 2860?
Oh, I had on a little angle.
Oh, so it's definitely 2860?
Yeah.
2860. Passage is 1200 for the stairs, 1480 for passage, and 90mm wall either side, which is 180, 1860. Oh, what am I doing? 2860. Exactly what you just got, Mitchy.
2860.
Yeah. Is that what you got again there?
Yeah.
Well, that shows that all our walls are plumb, or they're all out of plumb but leaning the same way. That's good. Yeah, so if I can get 4 at 2860, we'll bring these in. What I might get you to do as well is we'll extend that chalk line all the way through to that edge over here. And it's for this little wall coming through here too, where it's actually going to be kind of, the wall's going to be up in the floor space. So remember that was actually our highest point. We had 17mm to our laser line there, but we decided to go 20 just so we don't have to pack everything else too far. But that means once you flick your line, you might only get like 18mm to the top of the yard. Well, in that case, you'll get 17mm to the top. Wait. No, you get 23mm to the top, meaning we've got to take 3mm off. Yep. Shit.
20 and a half would be alright?
Yeah, half a mil's fine. Half a mil's fine, as long as if you're working posies next to each other, they're all out by the same half a mil. So if that's 20 and a half and the next one's 19 and a half, that's when we start to get a bit too much of a discrepancy. I'll get you to get that side right, shoot that off, make it a fixed point.
Yep.
And then before you shoot this little bit off, because it is a nib wall with nothing, plumbing that up. Yep. It's pretty rigid and it should be plumb because that's running all the way through. It shouldn't have any movement, but I'll just double check it for plumb before you shoot it off, and then yeah, we're good to keep moving. That should be perfect. Beautiful. Mate, that feels good when everything works the way it's meant to.
Yeah.
Cool, so that's all good to shoot in a second. Let me just, it's dead plumb. Yeah, that's dead plumb, which is good because that's solid. It's got no movement. So are you okay to get that second beam up there? Have you done the checkout for it? Yeah, you have. Good to go. Good to go. Oh. I'm kicking myself today. I don't know about you, Mitchy, but I reckon like right now is one of my favourite parts of the frame. When you're ready to do the subfloor, I think I prefer posies and beams and everything more than trusses almost. A good truss roof's fun, but there's just so much stuff to do now. There's so much work that we can do, so I'm just itching to get out there. I want to check on the foot. It's been a week and a half since it's been rolled. So this is your lucky day. Normally this foot content goes in the OnlyFans. She's looking alright, there's a tiny bruise there. She's not looking too bad. It's only a little bit swollen, a little bit of a bruise at the bottom. I don't know if I've spoken about it much recently, but it's been a week and a half since I've done it, and straight away I thought it was not as bad as what it was. So I tried walking on it way too quickly and made it so much worse. So that's why I'm on the crutches and not doing much. I'm just being over cautious now because I really want to be good to go on Monday. There's so much involved here on Monday, and geez, I'm not going to cope well if it's going to be another day on crutches. Today was slow, especially waiting for Mitch to do his TAFE, and then when Mitch is back doing work, it sucks just standing around.